With Radio Algeria International, you will not miss a single major political or economic event. Radio Algeria International, our voice in the world.
This is the English service of Radio Algeria International. It's time for the news.
In today's top stories, the President of the Republic, Abdelmadjid Tebboune, has received the President of the Libyan Presidential Council, Younes Al-Menfi, as part of his official visit to Algeria. Algeria has called for an emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council on the situation in the Gaza Strip amid new massacres perpetrated by the Israeli occupation. President of Western Sahara, Brahim Ghali, has called on the United Nations to hold the Moroccan occupation accountable for its violation of the ceasefire in Western Sahara. Hello and welcome to the details. Joining me today in the reading of this news bulletin, my colleague Assia Bekar. Hello, Assia.
Hi, Majid.
In our news file in Libya, we start with Libya. The President of the Republic, Abdelmadjid Tebboune, has received the President of the Libyan Presidential Council, Younes Al-Menfi, at the headquarters of the Presidency of the Republic as part of an official visit. Mr. Younes Al-Menfi arrived in Algiers today morning. He was welcomed on arrival at Algiers Houari Boumediene International Airport by the Prime Minister Nadir Al-Arbawi and the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the National Community Abroad, Ahmed Attaf.
The President of the Republic, Abdelmadjid Tebboune, has offered his sincere condolences and expressed his deepest sympathy following the death of the former international football referee and former President of the Algerian Football Federation, Belaid Lakarne, praying Almighty Allah to surround the deceased with His holy mercy. Back to you, Majid.
On the first day of his official visit to Mauritania, at the invitation of his Mauritanian counterpart, Lieutenant General of Mokhtar Bol Shaban, Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Mauritania, the Chief of Staff of the National People's Army, Army General Said Chengriha, was received in Nouakchott on Tuesday by Mauritanian President Mohamed Ould Sheikh Al Ghaznawi, to whom he handed over a letter from the President of the Republic, Abdelmadjid Tebboune. On this occasion, the Army General expressed his deep gratitude for the warm welcome extended to him by His Excellency the President of the Islamic Republic of Mauritania, before handing him a letter from his brother, Mr. Abdelmadjid Tebboune, President of the Republic, Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, Minister of National Defense, in which he conveyed his greetings and congratulations following his re-election for another term at the head of the Islamic Republic of Mauritania. The Army General also hailed the fraternal ties that unite the two peoples, affirming that the future holds more opportunities to deepen bilateral relations between the two brotherly countries.
And the President of the Republic of India, Mrs. Draupadi Murmu, has left after a 4-day state visit during which Algeria and India agreed on boosting bilateral cooperation and on supporting the peaceful settlement of many current regional and international issues. President of the Republic, Abdelmadjid Tebboune, agreed with his Indian counterpart to boost economic cooperation and encourage investment and trade, and to prepare as soon as possible the holding of the sessions of the Joint Cooperation Commission and the political consultation mechanism to strengthen relations and deepen bilateral partnership. They also tackled the particular and exceptional regional and international situation and discussed several issues, notably the current situation in the Middle East in all its dimensions and the repercussions of the Israeli aggression against the Gaza Strip and southern Lebanon, its catastrophic humanitarian repercussions and its serious consequences on security and peace in the Middle East region and in the world. During his visit, the President of India, Mrs. Draupadi Murmu, hailed the historic relations linking the two countries since Algeria's revolution.
India-Algeria relations date back to the days of the Algerian liberation struggle against colonialism, when India advocated the cause of Algerian independence at the United Nations and other international fora. Following Algerian independence and the establishment of the diplomatic relations in July 1962, this policy orientation brought India and Algeria closer and our friendly relations continue to these days. The current developments are but a good beginning. Our relations are a long way from reaching their potential, which can be achieved by the hard-working young people of our two nations. I am convinced of the power of youth of this country and truly believe in their capabilities to take Algeria on a path of glorious development. These young minds will eventually become the bridgeheads of enhancing our robust people-to-people ties.
She was also awarded an honorary doctorate by the President of the Republic in recognition of her efforts in serving higher education and research and as a token of friendship between the two countries.
I am delighted to be here with all of you today. It is indeed a humbling experience for me to be honored with the honorary doctorate. This is an honor for my country more than for me as an individual. It is an honor you are bestowing on a country, citizen, and the culture that has been an ardent and consistent champion of peace and education since time immemorial. Fraction of the cost of Western institutions to ever increasing number of students from Africa, including from Algeria. We also offer several scholarships and fellowships to African students. I invite educational institutions, governmental departments, and youth of Algeria to take advantage of various initiatives of Government of India.
Let's note that the state visit of the President of India, Mrs. Draupadi Murmu, ended today, Tuesday. Back to you, Majid.
Okay, thank you, Asia. The President of the Algerian Economic Renewal Council, Kriya Kemal Moula, has affirmed here in Algiers that Algeria and India have been in a position to make further progress in strengthening their economic and trade partnership thanks to the development of the business atmosphere in Algeria, calling for the exploration of the investment opportunities available in the two countries. Speaking at the Algerian-Indian Economic Forum attended by the President of the Republic of India, Ms. Draupadi Murmu, where the President of Korea stressed that the two countries, which strengthened their relations in strategic sectors, were in a position to move further progress in the trade sector, with trade amounting to $1.9 million in addition to the partnership in vital sectors including energy, agriculture and technology. He noted that this first economic meeting between the two countries was attended by more than 300 economic operators from both sides, calling on Indian operators to share with their Algerian counterparts investment in Algeria, which is evolving particularly through the compilation of investments from both sides with a view to meeting economic challenges.
Today
is a new chapter for the economy and a new chapter opened as well for Algeria and India relations. Today the forum ended. We took them to visit Algerian companies and institutions, an opportunity for them to see the high technological level of our economic operators. He also highlighted the economic reforms that Algeria is undergoing on the initiative of the President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, notably through the adoption of a new law on investment and the strengthening of digitization as a means for combating bureaucracy, noting that the atmosphere had recently allowed to fewer than 9,000 investment projects planned with the Algerian Investment Promotion Agency. Over to you, Asia.
And the African Mediterranean Energy and Hydrogen Exhibition and Conference, or NAPAC, has wound up in the western city of Oran. The 12th edition was held under the theme Balancing Between Hydrocarbons and Clean Energy Towards an Effective Energy Mix. And the details with Jamal Salmani from the western city of Oran.
NAPAC 2024 comes to an end after 3 days of intense discussions, lectures and meetings that brought together a large number of energy decision makers. It yielded in the signing of several memorandums of understanding and partnership accords between national and foreign firms. During the event, the National Agency for the Valorization of Hydrocarbon Resources, NAFT, announced the international tender the Algeria Bid Round 2024. Many energy experts and executives expressed satisfaction and hope about this turning point decision for the first time in years. We visited the exhibition hall to acquire about the first impressions by the participants about the Algerian Bid Round 2024 and met with the Vice President, Country Manager of Equinor, Rida Razouk, who expressed satisfaction about the Algeria Bid Round.
We see the new bid round with the eyes of an historical partner. I think this is important to mention. Equinor is an historical partner. Hopefully Equinor is a solid partner, a reliable partner, a trusted partner by Sonatrach and by the authorities with 2 decades of presence in the country. So that's the eyes we use, and we see this new bid round coming, which we welcome. The bid round was announced yesterday. With the various interactions we've done that before, we knew it would be coming, so very good to see it formally announced, and we will definitely look at it with the attractiveness that the new law is offering, and hopefully with the attractiveness of the areas that are proposed.
In the exhibition, we also visited the Pavilion of Exalt, which is the result of an important partnership between the National Agency for the Valorization of Hydrocarbon Resources, Al-Nafta, and the multinational global technology company, SLB. We met with an executive at Al-Nafta, Daghal Farida, who gave us details about the partnership.
So at the end of 2022, Al-Nafta signed a partnership which resulted in Exalt. So this is like a win-to-win situation. So we had enough. Our major job is to promote our hydrocarbon domains. So through this partnership, we are giving a chance to this project to go further. So what's new with this Exalt project is that we are not only promoting the data. We are not going to this bid round legacy data, but this data through this partnership is being checked, is being improved by doing some processing.
We also met with SLB Communication Manager Fawzia Makhawi, who told us about the perception of this company about the joint project Exalt.
So first of all, SLB has a portfolio of software solutions that are meant to support engineers to interpret the normal data into models that provide information about the underground volumes. Our softwares are from the whole life cycle of fields. In the context of the partnership with Al-Naft, so Exalt is supporting, so we are providing the technology, SLB is providing the technology and expertise, Al-Naft is providing the expertise to come up together with the best packages to offer to attract investors and giving the maximum information to those investors about the potential of the blocks that are put in the bid round.
NAPAG has wound up, but other energy events are high on the agenda, as announced by the Minister of Energy and Mines, Mohamed Arqab, the International Conference on Hydrogen, scheduled for April 2025. Jamal Salmani, to Radio Algeria International, from the city of Oran.
And the development manager of the Algerian energy company, Sofiane Zatmish, revealed that the state has taken a strategic and proactive step in achieving water security.
Algerian Energy Company is a giant stock public company established in 2001. AEC has as a mission to promote and to develop in the large-scale project, desalination project and power generation. The portfolio of AEC is about, till now, 14 seawater desalination plants which are in the operating phase. We have 11 has been launched in DBOO, design, build and own own and operate with a partnership with foreign companies which has this technology of water desalination. The different program of Algerian energy companies. So we have the first program with DBOO with a partnership of different companies. The second one is Emergency Water 2021 has been launched with EPC contracts, so engineering, procurement and construction with Algerian companies. We speak about Consider Canalization and GCB is one of the Sonatrach group company. Our strategy is to have a very good security, hydric security here in Algeria within this different program. We are now contributing of 42% of the different of the drinkable water network in Algeria with the reception of the different program is till 2024.
That was the development manager of the Algeria Energy Company. Back to you, Majid.
During his participation in the 37th Extraordinary Congress of the Arab Inter-Parliamentary Union in his capacity as representative of the President of the Council of the Nation, Salah Goujil, Saad Ouras said that the Zionist entity's crime has gone beyond the humanitarian laws and values, pointing out that it had spread before the eyes of the world, which has not yet assimilated the horror of the genocide committed by the Zionist entity in Gaza and the occupied Palestinian territories, as well as in Lebanon, a sister country. Again to you, Asia.
In an address to the 37th Extraordinary Congress of the AIPU held on the sidelines of the 149th Assembly of the Inter-Parliamentary Union, Ibrahim Boughali stressed the need to close ranks, unite efforts and speak with one voice to confront the Israeli occupation, which is attempting through acts of genocide to erase the Palestinian question.
The total of the Zionist genocidal aggression against the Gaza Strip has risen to 42.409 martyrs and 99.153 wounded, mostly women and children, since 7 October 2023.
Algeria has called for an emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council on the situation in the Gaza Strip. The meeting will be held today at 10 a.m. New York time, 3 p.m. Algiers time.
The International Rescue Committee has called for the protection of humanitarian workers in the Gaza Strip following the killing of 3 partner employees in just 24 hours in air strikes waged by the Zionist occupation army. More details with Said Bouazi.
In a statement published on its website, the International Rescue Committee, IRC, condemned the murder of 3 colleagues from 2 Palestinian organizations following Zionist airstrikes last week. The non-governmental organization points out that since October 2023, more than 300 humanitarian workers had been killed in the Gaza Strip, the highest number ever recorded in a single crisis in the world. The vast majority of those killed are Palestinians, and Palestinian NGOs continue to face the greatest risks in the distribution of humanitarian aid. The IRC insists wherever humanitarian organizations operate, they do not lose their right to protection under humanitarian law, and reminds the Zionist entity that as an occupying power, it is obliged to guarantee the protection of the civilian population and to facilitate its unimpeded access to humanitarian aid. Given the urgent need for a massive increase in humanitarian assistance, the International Rescue Committee continues to call for an immediate and lasting ceasefire as the only way to protect the lives of Palestinians.
The Sahrawi President and Secretary General of the Polisario Front, Brahim Ghali, has called on the United Nations to charge Morocco the entire responsibility on the consequences of its violation regarding the ceasefire for not being held accountable. This came in a letter addressed to the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres.
The Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights has called for an independent investigation into an airstrike that hit an apartment building in northern Lebanon on Monday, killing 22 people.
You still listen to Radio Algeria International, 2:15 minutes Algiers time, and I invite you now to listen to a special program on the occasion of the International Food Day, compiled and presented by Majid Moula.
Rising Issues. A weekly program Presented by Najib Mia.
Dear listeners, hello and welcome to this program devoted to food security in the world. Let's first have a quick look into how the concept is defined. Based on the 1996 World Food Summit, food security is defined when all people at all times have physical and economic access to sufficient, safe and nutritious food that meets the dietary needs and food preferences for an active and healthy life. Food insecurity, on the other hand, as defined by the United States Department of Agriculture, is a situation of limited or uncertain availability of nutritionally adequate and safe foods, or limited or uncertain ability to acquire acceptable foods in socially acceptable ways. The concept of food security has evolved over time. The four pillars of food security include availability, access, utilization and stability. In addition, there are two more dimensions that are important: urgency and sustainability. These 6 dimensions of food security are reinforced in conceptual and legal understandings of the right to food. The World Food Summit in 1996 declared that food should not be used as an instrument for political and economic pressure. As of 2015, the concept of food security has mostly focused on food calories rather than the quality and nutrition of food. Food security can be measured by the number of calories to digest per person per day available on a household budget.